testing? Development testing means a system is tested during the development to discover bugs and defects. It means that it is like whoever is coding the whoever is doing the code or developing the program or typing the program or doing the coding, they test their program to see if there are any bugs or errors. Okay, then we have something known as release testing. What does this release testing do is where separate testing team test your system. See, now in your exam, let's say for example, you type a program or you come up with your own program. Okay, you type and execute it, then it is known as development testing. Once it is completely done, you will be asking some others to test the program. Okay, your friends or your team members or something like that. That is nothing but release testing. User testing is the potential users or the customers of the system test whether the system is working in the properly or not. So here the development and release testing are done in the development environment, whereas user testing, the testing usually happens in the environment of the customer or the user. So let's discuss in detail with each of these. So in development testing, all testing activities are carried out by the team developing the system. So one difference is development testing is always done by the people who are writing the code or who are developing the system. So there are three types in this. One is unit testing, component testing, and system testing. Unit testing means the single code or a file is tested or debugged to see whether it is working properly. Like you write a function, okay, and you check whether the function parameters are correct or the return type is correct, all of that. That is unit testing. Component testing is you will integrate several codes to form a single component. So you will check whether the component is working properly. When you are doing this component testing, what you are concerned is more about is or your focus is more on testing component interfaces. So you will be testing the component interfaces in component testing. Okay. So the different, like let's say I wrote a code. Fine. And you are writing some other piece of a code in the same project. Now, when we integrate both of them, whether it works properly, suppose I am sending an integer value and you are accepting a string value, will the program work? No, it will say type mismatch, something like that, right? So, whenever we are integrating two or more components, we do this component testing. And this will detect any interface errors. Next, we have system testing. Ma'am, system testing is a part of here. See here, the developer will integrate all the parts and test the system. That is nothing but system testing. Okay, all the components will be integrated, and the interaction between these components is tested within this system testing. So focus is on testing component interaction. See, while I am doing system testing, I will not check unit test cases or what within the components what is happening. That is already done. Only what I will my focus will be is on component interactions. Any doubts here? So development testing can be of three types: unit testing, component testing, and system testing. Any doubts, guys? Fine. So the same thing you have for unit testing. Process of testing individual components in isolation. It is the defect testing process. We can read through this. What and all, what activities you do within unit testing is what is given by these 3 points. So in this unit testing only, you have something known as object class testing. Basically, whenever you are doing object oriented programming, this comes into picture, wherein we see a set of objects are interacting with one another. So your test cases should cover all these interactions. Suppose you are using inheritance. 1 second. One second, guys. So one example for testing what they have given is your weather station object interface. There is a weather station. The attribute within it is an identifier, and these are the methods associated with that. This you already know in the object diagram for this. Okay. So here we need to define test cases for report weather, calibrate, test, and start up or shut down a weather station. Fine. Ma'am, how can I get to know these test cases? See, whenever you see the state model or different design components, for example, you would have seen your state transition diagrams or context models or UML diagrams or use case diagrams. Seeing all those designs, you can come up with your test cases. What is the test case? Can someone say what do I mean by a test case? Yes, guys. Someone say, what do you mean by a test case? No idea, or you don't want to answer. Okay, cases can be documented. That I can say. But what is a test case? Fine. Maybe you know you cannot put it in words. See, whatever functionality or individual functionality of a particular software or a product is known as a test case, which you want to test. See, there are certain functionalities within your software or a product what you are developing which needs to be tested and which is given within the requirements. Those are known as test cases. Okay, and usually, like Kavya says, all the test cases will be documented in a test document. Okay, so what these test cases will have is I don't know whether you have it in your syllabus. Let's see, or someday I will just show you. Every test case will have a test case ID, just the name associated with, and a description of the test case, and what are the steps involved in that test case, what is the input and what is the output for that, expected input and output for that. Okay, so what they do is they document like this, and they give a number. A tester or whoever who is doing the testing will see and test according to it. Okay, and when he tests, if he will give the input as it is in the document, and he will check the output, whether you will get the same output. If he does not get the expected output, he will say error. Okay, so if there is so if you don't get the expected result, we say that the test has failed. Okay, so what actually happens here is, if your test has failed, it is not getting giving the expected output, they will revert back to the person who did the coding. Okay, see, it means something like a achievement of a tester, and it is like degrading the person who has done the coding. It is like pinpointing him and telling whatever code you have written is wrong. Do you understand, all of you? Maybe this comes later, but I've explained it now. Do you want me to repeat? This is a very important concept. Let's say, okay, Kavya, 1 second, guys. Okay, I'll explain once again. See, software requirements document is there. All of you understand? Yes, guys, those who are sleeping, get up. You all know what is SRS, software requirements specification document. Agreed. It consists of all the requirements from the customer and what is documented, and everything is signed by the customer as well as the developer. Okay. So, seeing this document or studying this document or going through this document, there will be a test team. What they will do is they will come up with the test cases. Test sense, let's station system. Now, there should be a function to on the start up the weather station. Agreed. And there should be a test case which will shut down the station. There should be a function called report weather. Agreed. There is something called report weather, report the weather status. See, for based on this reading the document, they will come up with the test cases. Fine. What will this test case contain? See, this test case, maybe next class or something, I will show you a test case document. Okay. What will it contain? Mm, okay. What will this have? This will have a test case ID and the test case name. Okay. Description, input, okay, and expected output. Fine. Let's say, for example, one ID is 1. Fine. Then I have a name known as report weather. Okay. Description, something I will give. Input to this is the date. Let's say, for example, today's date, something like 25th 11 2020. and expected output is weather data. Let's say it is a structure or an object which contains the weather data. Okay, fine, agreed. So he will write. Who will write this? It will be the tester who will write this. Fine. He will prepare a document like this with n number of test cases and what is the test and what is the description, what is the input and what is the output. Now, once your coding is done and you release the product, what happens is the tester will take the first test case. First one, he will execute which function it will execute, he will know. He will give this input from the input and he will say where he will see whether you are getting the weather data. Let's say while accepting the input, I give something like this, but it is giving invalid date or it is not taking input in this format. Okay, actually along with this there is another column saying that result. Okay, now if he gives the same input like this and if he gets the same output, then he will say pass. Fine. Let's say, for example, he is giving input like this, but input only it is not accepting, saying that invalid date format or something like that, and you're getting an error. Then what he will say? He will say fail. Not only this, he will give this result or he will upload the result for everyone. Now, let's say I have developed this module report weather. For me, it will be showing whatever module I have developed, it is not working properly. It has failed. Did you understand? Then it is my job to go fix the error and see in such a way that date is given like this, your output will come. So after what happens the cycle is see, I will accept this result, I will go and fix my error, and then I will say I have released the new version of this function. Then again the tester will test with the same input and check whether he is getting the proper output. If this time input and output are all the same, you are getting the result, then he will update the status to pass. So like this, there will be a test case for every functionality of the software. So there may be hundreds of test cases for a particular product. And for every test case, you will test and say update. Only if everything is passed, only then it will go to the next state. That is system testing. Did you understand now, all of you guys? Kavya, others? So simply a tester may not give some, let's say for example, tester wants to simply trouble the coder and say, oh, the input is like this, it is not taking like that, all that. See, whatever he says, you can, as a coder, you can say, see, my code will take date and time format like this only. The tester may say the requirements document will say like this only. All that will be there. So we should, for everyone, for the tester, the input is from where he will get is from the requirements. But for the coder also should check the requirement document to see whether it is properly, your code is according to the requirements document. guys? Fine. Shall I go further? So, first thing is, how do I get to know about the test cases? Is the tester should understand the system properly and develop the test case. Fine. Next class maybe, or some other time I will give more examples about these. Actually, this is a very interesting topic if you are learning. Fine. So these are some of the test cases which are there for the weather station. I gave only for report weather. Similarly, for shutdown, there is one, for example, sequence of events it might happen. See, for report weather also, report weather will call so function. Let's say I will take shutdown. Shutdown will call running and then it will go to shutdown. Configuring, it will go to running, it will go to testing, transmitting, running. Like this you can see the sequence of events and come up with the test case. Okay, 1 second guys. So basically, the test case document will be written by the testing team by going through the different design documents like use case diagrams, sequence diagrams, and object diagrams, all of that. Suppose if your sequence diagram or your object diagrams are wrong, that will be reflected in the test cases also. Did you get it? Can I go further? Can I go to the next topic? Okay. Now, the testing can be of two things. Fine. One is known as manual testing and the other is known as automated testing. Does anyone have an idea about what do you mean by manual testing and what do you mean by automated testing, guys? Anyone? I think this you would have heard. Yeah, what is automated testing? What is manual testing? Hmm, Yeah, good, both of you. See, manual testing means there will be a tester, like I told you. Some person will be doing the testing job. He will test every case. He will see whether what is the input, what is the output. But in automated testing, we use tools. Okay. Kavya, we can't say system, we say tools, okay, or special software. So, what does the special software do is, see, if I am doing a manual testing, I have to sit there, give the input every time, see the output whether it is proper. In automated testing, I record the tests and it is automatically it checks whether the case runs or it is correct or not. See, the same thing what happened here, we can record it and see whether we can whether it is correct or not. What is the use of this automated testing is, let's say for example, the previous slide what I said, wherein I gave this one. Let's say first time I am checking the same input I am giving, first time input it is some problem is there, it fails. Next time I see there is some problem with the month or the year, I have given 2020, it will take only last two digits. And again there is a problem. Now first the input is correct, then I see the weather data something is coming, it is not as expected. See how many times the same thing, but he is repeating again and again, right? Rather than wasting the resource time, what we can do is we can record it. Now, what will happen is when we are using these tools like JUnit Tester, what happens is every time it will give the correct input and see the correct output, and it will automatically check whether it is correct and it will pass. If you're not getting, it will say it is fail. So you need not have to sit in front of the system and do it. The tool will automatically do, and that also you can configure the tool to run the test case in whatever time you want. Whatever time in the sense, let's say I want to run the test case and the system is busy now. You can say run this particular test case at night sometime when the system is free. So that is the use of automated testing. But yes, automated testing also first time you require the user help to record or test or to see how it works. Okay, that is automated testing. Nowadays, yes, the student testers who learn these tools, automated testing tools are in more demand. Okay, basically where we do is, see, the first version I have tested with all the 100 test cases. Let's say after 2 days, the second version comes. I have to again test all the 100 cases to see whether the previous bugs, the new bugs are fixed. Along with that, to see the new bugs are not introduced into the system. Yes, so that is where this automated testing comes into picture. Okay, you can do as many times you want the testing. So in automated system, that is what a setup part wherein you utilize the system with the test case, namely inputs and expected outputs. You initialize the system with inputs and outputs. A call part where you can call the object or a method to be tested. Okay. An assertion part wherein you compare the results with the expected result. I want you to go through this slide. I'll give you 2 minutes, then we will continue with the next. Okay. Can I continue further? So one thing you have to remember is when you're there are two types of unit test cases. One which will test the normal operation of the program, and the other which tests some of the common problems that might arise. Can you say some one give you I can give you one example. Let's say for example I am testing a page for Gmail account logging in. Okay, normal operation would be giving a proper username and password. Fine. And something which you want to check for abnormal operation would be, suppose I give something okay, I can take that example. Let's say for example in a any website they are asking you to enter your Gmail account details. Okay, if you give a normal Gmail account, then it is fine. Someone who gives something does not want to relieve, they give ABCD, something like that. Yes, it consists of characters, but it can never be a normal correct Gmail account, right? So your test cases should also check for those problems. Okay, if someone gives something wrong, what will happen? Will you how will you check it? All that. Fine. So testing strategies, shall I discuss it in the next class? Today, shall we start with the people's presentation? Okay. So I have. So let's start with whose turn is today. I think Chirantan Banerjee, you're there. Next, Chitra.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma, you're prepared today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, pa, you can start.
Ma'am, can I present it?
Yes, pa, you can take the presenter control.
Uh, Ma'am, is it visible?
Chitra, now it is, but I'm not able to see your presentation. The others?
Ma'am, now it is visible.
No, pa, actually, it is not visible for me. It was saying that trying to present, but now I don't know. Guys, others, please check. Yeah. Chitra, please try again.
Yes. Ma'am, is it visible now?
No, Pa. No, no. You've not taken the control. Uh, Actually, it is giving me, it is presenting, but I'm not able to see anything on the screen. Is your network connection slow or because of that? I don't know. Others, you've not shared your presentation.
It's saying that it is sharing my screen, ma'am.
No, others, can you see? Because for me, it is saying that video is paused. If you want, you can send it to me. I will present from here.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Chitra, what are you doing? Have you sent it? Uh, which email ID, ma? I've still not received any mail. Shilpa-csc@dsatm.edu.in. Okay, maybe by the time I receive yours, maybe I'll call the next person. Got it, got it, got it. Fine. Hmm. Chandrasekhar. Okay, Chitra, you can start. I think you can see my screen. Let me know when you want me
Yes,
to
ma'am.
move. Okay, fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm going to explain about the objects and classes. So here in the screen, you can see a class and object, where a class is a blueprint from which individual objects can be created. So class organizes objects, whereas the object is an instance of class. An object is nothing but a self-contained component which consists of methods and properties to make a particular type of data useful. So when you want to create many car objects, we require some template or the blueprint. So when you look at this picture, like what is blueprint? It's a class, it's a concept, or it's a design, or it's a structure using which we can create multiple objects. So where it has its own properties and info. So these objects, like many cars, has the blueprint from a class. So Uh, when we look around us, we see many objects like table, desktop, dog, bicycle, so many objects. So these real life entities can be converted into software objects. Yeah, next slide, ma'am. Next one. Yeah. So these real world objects can have two characteristics, namely like state and behavior. So as you can see there are three dogs. Ma'am, next slide. Yeah. So there are you can list the difference between them like breed, size, color, age, etc. So these differences can also be common characteristics shared by the dogs. So in software, these are called as the data members. So next slide, ma'am. Also, these dogs have some common behaviors like sleep, sit, eat, and run. These actions are also called as function. So, hence, the state can be described by variables and behavior by methods or functions. Next slide, ma'am. So, hence, we can define the dog as a class in which size, breed, age, and color are the data members or the objects, and eat, sleep, sit, run will be the methods or functions. So, these are the common data defined generally. Now, for different values of data members, we can get different dog objects which can perform the following functions. So, next slide, ma'am. Yeah, these dogs can be of three objects, which has the different breed, size, age, and color, which can perform similar functions like eat, sleep, sit, and run. So next one. So here in this picture, this student is a class created with four students as objects. So in UML symbol, class students can be written in a box, and the objects, that is the students, can be written as name colon students inside the box. So here above, we can see a system modeling notation where it has student class, and there are these I mean the name and the roll number are the attributes which can describe a value held by each object of the class. Like each object has its name, roll number, followed by the data type. So and the below one are the operations, which are functions or procedure that may be applied to or by object in a class. So by these operations, we can set in a number of many number of names and roll numbers under student class. So that's it now. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Chitra. Um, any questions, guys? Actually, she took very good examples and try to give you, explain to you what are classes and what are objects, and also how to identify classes and objects. Nice. Good effort and good presentation. Okay. Thanks, Chitra. So let's go to the next person. Hmm. Sankirtana, you are there, madam. Every time you will not be there. So today also, if you're not there, let's go to the next person. Darshan Gowda. Sankirtana, you're there, right? Can you respond? And Darshan also, you are there. I want you to switch on your microphone and talk. At least reply in the chat. Okay, fine. Thank you for responding. What about that, Sankirtana? So, Darshan, you have to give it on Saturday. Sankirtana, every time you are either you're absent or okay, fine. At least you're responding. I'm not prepared. I will give tomorrow. So I hope that tomorrow is tomorrow only, and I want you to prepare and present it. Okay? Fine. Deepa NC.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, pa.
Can I present it?
Yeah, you can take the presenter control.
Ma'am, is it visible?
Yes, ma, visible.
Good morning, all. Today I'm going to speak about the topic incremental development. It is a process in which an initial version is developed and exposed to the user or customer. It is then evolved through several versions to develop a final system. In incremental approach, the best understood requirements are implemented first. Later, the additional functionality is added to the system. Since it is exposed to the customer in development stage, the customer can check whether the system meets its requirements or not. In this example, the requirement of the picture is mentioned in the beginning and an initial version of the picture is developed. In the later steps, increments are added to it to obtain a complete picture. Benefits of incremental development are cost accommodating changing customer needs is reduced since the customer feedback is available after each version and the amount of work redone is reduced. It is more flexible compared to other models and less costly. More rapid delivery and deployment of useful software is possible. It is also easier to handle risks since the software is created in parts. Problems of incremental development. The process is not visible and the software structure cannot be predicted during development. System tends to degrade as new increments are added. The new increments can be costly and might make the software more complicated. The problems of incremental development are acute in case of large systems because different teams work on different parts of the project. Thank you.
Thank you, Deepa. Deepa, you could have given one more example and what in each step we do could have given more explanation, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm?
Yes, ma'am.
You were in very hurry to complete as at the earliest, but still good effort, ma. Only thing I wanted was when you're giving these kinds of concepts, right? See, in objects and classes which Chitra explained, there you could have given any example like that. But when you're developing, when you're using or giving a presentation on models like these, incremental model or waterfall model or requirements, please try to incorporate the diagram which is there in your textbook. Okay. Reason why I want that is, see, by seeing the diagram n number of times, you will know what are the steps and what you have to do. Write it in the examination. Okay. That's the only reason. Fine, Pa. Thank you
Okay,
so
ma'am.
much, Deepa. Next person, Deepali.
Yes, ma'am. Need to present it.
Okay, Ma. You can take the control.
Yes, ma'am. Is it visible, ma'am? Ma'am, is my PPT visible?
Yes, Pa. Visible. Okay. Before you start, okay, for today it is fine. From the next class, I don't want students taking first module topics. Okay. Let's concentrate more on second module topics from now onwards. Reason being, it will be a revision for your test also, and people who are preparing will be preparing for your internals also. Fine? Today it is fine. Yes. Today you can do for first modules, but from tomorrow, whoever is taking up, you have to take the second internal questions or second internal syllabus. Okay, ma. You can continue now, Deepali.
Good morning to everyone. I'm here to explain about a wilderness weather station. The government of a country with large areas of wilderness decides to deploy several hundred weather stations in remote areas. Weather stations collect data from a set of instruments that measure temperature and pressure, sunshine, rainfall, wind speed, and wind direction. The weather station environment weather station system, station maintenance system, data management and archiving system, they are internally connected. The description of diagram. The weather station system, this is responsible for collecting data, carrying out some initial data processing, and transmitting it to the data management system. The data management and archiving system. This system collects the data from all the wilderness weather stations, carries out data processing and analysis, and archives the data. The station maintenance system. This system can communicate by satellite with all wilderness weather stations to monitor the health of these systems and provide reports of problems. Additional software functionality of weather station system: monitor the instruments, power and communication hardware, and report faults to the management system. Manage the system power, ensuring that batteries are charged whenever the environmental conditions permit, but also the generators are shut down in potential damaging weather conditions such as high wind. Support dynamic configuration where parts of the software and are replaced with new versions, and where backup instruments are switched into the system in event of system failure. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Deepali. Hmm. Yeah, you all taken a easy topic and finish it at the earliest. Yeah, fine. Good effort. Only thing what happens is I'm not able to judge and give more feedback on this. Next person, Vasant Reddy. He's not there. Harsha.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, pa.
Can I present,
Yes,
ma'am?
pa.
Is it visible?
Yes, pa. Visible. Only 3 slides, huh? Okay, fine. Oh, scenarios. Fine. Start.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I'll be talking about scenarios. Scenario is a technique part of the requirements elicitation process. Elicitation is essentially deriving information from the stakeholders pertaining to the proposed system based on an outline requirements document. Scenarios describe a specific use of a proposed system. They capture the system as viewed from the outside by a user using specific examples. These examples are real life interactive sessions that end user would encounter while using the proposed system. It is easier to use a real life situation as the stakeholder can easily relate to it and thus easily comment on what should be changed, etc. Scenarios are used to add detail to the outline requirements description. The descriptions, each scenario usually covers a small number of possible interactions. Together, they are combined to a proper requirements list. The scenarios should contain a description of what the starting situation of the system should be, a description of the various steps that will be carried out during the execution of it, and also what could possibly go wrong during the execution, what we know as exception handling in programming. It should also have information about concurrent events that are happening during the procedure and also describe what would be the endpoint or a successful execution. I would like to take an example of something all of us are quite familiar with, withdrawing cash at an ATM. So first we map out all the steps that are happening. We insert the ATM card, select the language, we enter the PIN, we select the service we want, withdrawal, balance inquiry, etc. Then we select the account type, we feed the amount we require, collect the cash. Then we are prompted if we want to do another transaction, and then we are asked if we want to print a receipt. And thus the execution ends. Now, if we trace back and we see what could possibly go wrong, someone could enter a wrong PIN, so they'll have to be prompted telling them that they've entered a wrong PIN, and if multiple times this happens, they are to be. It has some cases the card is blocked, and someone could enter an amount that is higher than their balance, so that has to be taken care of. Or sometimes the ATM might not have the enough amount inside, so that will also have to be considered. All of this is uh, described in the scenarios, so we can easily illustrate it down the software design process, something like this. Everything that we describe will be used in the later processes to have a right understanding of what the whole use case should function like. That is it. Thank you.
Thanks, Harsha, for taking a really interesting topic and trying to explain it with your example. Good effort.
Thank you, ma'am.
So, can you say what is the? Did you cover what is the advantages and disadvantages of scenario?
Ma'am, basically, because it's a real life situation, the stakeholder can relate to it. Like the example I gave, we try to present a real life situation that they encounter during operating the proposed system. so they can comment on it. So the stakeholder would essentially be already using something similar to it. So if we are asking them about that and we give them a real life situation they face, they can give us a good, uh, like all the requirements that are essential, something that we might have missed.
Mm. What is the disadvantage? No disadvantage then?
There are possibly, like, we definitely won't cover everything. We might miss a scenario, or
Mm.
the example that we take might not be the best
Problem
one
is
for the case.
time and coming up with
Yes,
the exact scenarios. In
yes,
order
ma'am.
to understand that working, the person should work there or should understand it properly.
Yes, ma'am.
So technicals, if there is a technical things involved there, and if we are not, the person who is gathering the requirements is not that very, what can I say, educated about that, then it will be a problem.
Yes,
Not a problem, I can say it will be most cost consuming in times of
yes,
effort.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, thanks, Harsha.
Thank you, ma'am.
Next person, Fabian. Fabian, not there. Okay, let's go to the next person, Suchita.
Yes, ma'am.
Madam, you're prepared?
Yes, ma'am. Can
Yeah.
I share?
Yeah, you can share. Suchita, something happened and we are not able to see your screen.
It's not coming, ma'am.
Try, otherwise you have to send it to me, mail it to me.
Okay.
Excuse me. Suchita, have you sent it?
Ma'am, can I send it in WhatsApp, ma'am?
No, dear. What happens is I have to send it again to email and then it is a wrong. It will take some time. That's the reason.
Oh,
You try to share it once again. Let's see. Tushar is there by then. Tushar, not there. Okay. Gaganashri. Suchita, you can
ma'am,
send it to what ma?
your mail ID, ma'am.
Shilpa hyphen CSC at dsatm.edu.in. Yes, Gagana, let's wait, let her complete. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Happened And in the chat box
No,
also
no.
you can refer. Yes, ma.
Minutes came.
Not yet received. Yeah, got it. But you have sent me images. It's only images?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So first one you want the waterfall image.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay, dear. Done.
It's not visible.
Whether images it will present or not, because let me try again.
Yeah.
It's visible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Can I start?
Yeah, you can start.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm going to explain about waterfall model. This takes the fundamental process activities of specification, development, validation, and evolution and represents them as a separate phases such as requirement specification, software design, implementation, and testing. The waterfall model was the first process model to be introduced. It is also referred to as linear sequential life cycle model. It is very simple to understand and use. In a waterfall model, each phase must be completed before the next phase can begin, and there is no overlapping in the phases. And next, start requirement analysis. The system services contents and goals are established by consultations with systems users. Next, system design. The system design process allocates the requirements to either hardware or software system by establishing an overall system architecture. Next, implementation. During this stage, the software design is realized as a set of programs or program units. Unit testing involves verifying that each unit meets its specification. Next, system development. So, system testing. The individual program unit or programs are integrated and tested as a complete system to ensure that the software requirements have been met. After testing, the software system is delivered to the customer. System development. The normally it is the longest life cycle phase. The system installed and put into practical use. Maintenance involves correcting errors which were not discovered in earlier stages of the life cycle. Ma'am, next advantage. Slide. Next slide. Ma'am. Next, advantages of waterfall model is this model is simple and easy to understand and use. and it is easy to manage due to rigidity of model. Each phase has specific deliverables and a review process. In this model, phases are processed and complete one at a time. Phases do not overlap. Waterfall model works well for smaller projects where requirements are very well understood. Then disadvantages of waterfall models are no working software is produced until late during the life cycle. High amounts of risk and uncertainty. No, it is not a good model for complex and object-oriented projects, and poor model for long and ongoing projects. And it is not suitable for the projects where requirements are a moderate to high risk of changing. Next, when we use the waterfall model is this model is used only when the requirements are very well known. Product definition is stable, technology is understood, there are no ambiguous requirements, the product is short. Thank you.
Sanchita, you just read it out from the slide. Hmm? You had prepared for your internals, waterfall model, everything. You could have explained how what you know in your own words, isn't it? Hmm?
Yes.
Next time you should try to explain in your own words, not reading it out. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, fine. Thank you, Sanchita. Next person,
Thank you.
Gaganashri.
Yes, ma'am.
You want to present, Pa?
Yes, ma'am. I'm presenting.
Yeah, fine.
Okay. Now I'll be talking about insulin pump control system, which is one of the important case studies to illustrate software engineering concepts. And we know that the software system used here is an embedded system, which means it contains a combination of both hardware and software, which means software is controlling hardware here. And this insulin pump control system, it is a medical system that simulates the functions of our pancreas. This is widely used by the people who are suffering from diabetes, and we know that diabetes is a very common condition where our pancreas cannot secrete sufficient amount of insulin into our blood. So normally these patients, they use external parameter to measure the amount of sugar level, and they intake insulin injections for a particular time period. So the advanced version of this itself is this insulin pump control system. So, as we can see, this is the system. Here it uses a glucose sensor and a transmitter. So this actually measures the blood parameter that is proportional to the sugar level. It gives the amount of sugar level present in the blood, and it transmits into the controller which is present here. So it contains a reservoir behind it, which contains insulin, and it uses this signal and it computes how much amount of insulin must be injected into our body. And not only this, and it uses one more input, which is the time at which the previous insulin dosage was given. So it uses both the inputs and it computes the amount of insulin that must be injected, and it gives signal to this infusion set, and this finally injects inside our body. So this is how it works, and this is the diagram of hardware components and organization, and this is the activity model. Here, as I told, this is the blood sensor measures the blood conductivity, and it like reads different conditions and gives it to the controller, and this will compute using this input and also from the clock, and it gives signal to the pump, and it finally pumps to the needle. And there is also an alarm if something goes wrong, or if it is not operating correctly, then this alarm rings and it gets us notified. And this activity model, this basically shows how single input has been transformed into different commands, and finally the insulin is pumped. And yeah, and we know that it is a medical system and it is a safety critical system. So if the pump doesn't work or do not operate correctly, it is very dangerous because their blood sugar can become too low or too less, and the patient can even slip into coma. So like if the sugar level is too less, which means insulin is high, it can lead to temporary brain malfunctioning. And if sugar level is high, which means the insulin is less, it can lead to eye damage and kidney and heart problems. So it is important to reach two requirements, which is availability and reliability. So for a diabetic patient, we do not know when can a person's sugar can come down or become too high. So it's important that insulin must be available 24/7. So availability is a must. And also not only availability, it must be available in the correct dosage. So because we saw that if the insulin is less or more, it can lead to many problems. So reliability is also important. So this was it about insulin pump. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Gagana. One thing I was very happy or impressed about your presentation was that picture, how actually this people actually think the working about it. How can it be a software system because of that insulin pump and injection and all that kinds? But that figure you just showed how it works, the entire system. Thanks for that information. I also did not know that such kind of that system diagram is there. I never searched for it. Good. I mean, you have gone through to get some information.
Yes, ma'am.
Good
Thank you.
presentation, Pa
Thank
Gagana.
you.
So let's say for next class, who and all will have to give? Ganesh, you're there? Okay. Tomorrow, sir. Gaurav Maurya, not there. Gaurav, not there. Okay. Sudhir Kumar. Sudhir. Sudhir? No. Pranati? Okay, tomorrow yourself. And both Sankirtana and Darshan, you will be both be giving tomorrow. Guru Darshan, please tell your friends if they get absent, don't think they have, I will let them. I have marked everyone who have given. Guru Darshan not there. Vishwajit, okay, tomorrow. Then Harish Kumar. Harish Kumar also not there. Okay, Harishwini. Yeah. Harsh, 54. You also. Harshit Singh. Harshit Singh. See, tell them even though they are not there, they should be prepared. From USN 46 to 60. Hemant Reddy. No. Ishan. Ishan. Ishita. Tomorrow, madam. Manasa. Manasa not there. Jayam. Akshay Jayam. Please tell your friends from USN 46 to It does not mean that you simply get absent to my class. Okay, by the way, tell your attendance. Asta, answer your attendance, guys. Asta, absent. Okay. USN 2, 3, 3, Abhijit. 4, 5,
5 present, ma'am.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. Akshat, when will you give presentation? You think you have been forgotten? Please be ready tomorrow. 13, 14, 15, 15, Anagashri. 16, 17, 18, 19. Those who are done can leave the meeting. 19. 18, Ankit Singh. When will you give the presentation, sir? Answer. Should be ready. Singh. Reply with at least yes or no. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 40, 42, 42, Fabian, 43, 44,